Hello, everyone. My name is Sushain, and welcome to yet another episode of the Flag Goes Up podcast. And as you can see, our channel has a little fresh look. It's a new thumbnail, a new logo, but same old us. Gurjot and Bhanu are joining me for this episode, and for the next 30 or odd minutes, we will be previewing the UEFA Euros 2020s for you. So before we get into the episode, I just want to ask my fellow hosts here that, why are we calling it UEFA Euro 2020? I mean, why not Euro 2021? I
Yeah, man, someone should knock some sense into those money hungry leeches at UEFA.
we all get that it was scheduled for last year, but obviously, it didn't happen
Yeah,
last year. So I think we could call it UEFA Euro 2021. But again, I mean, it's those guys
it's
at
just a number.
yeah, it's those guys at UEFA who make the decisions. Yeah, so
Yeah,
again, UEFA Euro being an international tournament, 30 days of non-stop football. Now the thing about international tournaments, why what I like about these tournaments is that you can enjoy these tournaments and enjoy the football as a neutral, by relaxing.
yeah,
You can sit back in your chair or in on your couch and just enjoy the football because I remember whenever Chelsea play and I'm watching a Chelsea game, my fingers are always in my mouth because I'm always biting my nails, and they always keep me at the edge of my seat. And even
yeah,
sometimes they even give you a mini heart attack. But with these international tournaments, because it personally for me, because I don't have any allegiance towards any other country. I mean, I couldn't care less if North Macedonia ends up winning the tournament, or if those mobile Nokia factory workers from Finland end up winning the tournament, I couldn't care less because and that is but again, that is just me. I mean, obviously, I think some people do have their allegiances as well. I think our viewers
yeah.
might as well have. I think obviously, Bhaskar, who's one of our fellow hosts and one of the founders of this podcast, has a certain allegiance towards England. I think Bhanu might have an allegiance towards Spain, but it's okay. I mean, obviously, you can enjoy your football any way you want to, but for me, I think I'm going to enjoy it as a neutral. Watching these 30 days of non-stop football and non-stop action. Yeah. So let's just
Yeah,
dive
great.
right into it. I mean, let's just do a group-wise analysis of all the groups in this year's tournament. Yeah. So starting from Group A, I think we've got Turkey, Italy, Wales, and Switzerland in this group. Now, what I feel is that this group is the second most toughest group after the Group F, which is the group of death. I mean, obviously, Italy seem the clear favorites because of the recent record that they've had. But teams like Turkey, Wales, and Switzerland are no pushovers. Yeah. So let's start by talking about Italy, who obviously is one of the host nations as well. They will be playing all their group games in Rome. Now, speaking of Italy, I think they've significantly improved from what they were last year. Their FIFA ranking is seventh. I think they're seventh on the FIFA rankings as well. And in last year's UEFA Euros, they were eliminated in the quarterfinals by Germany on penalties. I think Antonio Conte did a superb job there. Now, obviously, and Roberto Mancini has come in. I think he's done a great job as well. Now, Italy haven't conceded a single goal since 2018. I think they
Yeah,
are unbeaten. Their defensive record is great. I think the most scary aspect of Italy is their midfield and their defense, which obviously me and Banu were discussing before we started recording this episode. In the midfield, they've got Barella, Jorginho, Verratti. In defense, they've got Chiellini, Bonucci, Barzagli. So I think it's a fairly good squad, and I think Italy obviously will go through this group, and I think they can go a long way as well. I mean, what do you guys think? I
yeah.
mean, what do you think about Italy? Let's start with Gurjot. You obviously we've being the host nation and being having an experienced manager like Mancini. Obviously, we've spoken about their defense and their midfield, but what about their attack? I mean, what about the forwards?
Yeah. Italy, they did very well
Yeah,
throughout the qualifiers. They were free scoring team, and as you said, the amount of goals they conceded were pretty low. So
absolutely.
I think that Italy will be the dark horses of the tournament. They
Ab-
can go until the final and win the damn thing.
yeah,
Yeah, as forward line goes, Ciro Immobile, he has been scoring goals in Italy for how much long. He is from Lazio, scoring bangs of goals. in the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think so I don't think there will be any problems in the front three. Yeah, so I think Italy is a very good team you to watch out for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. Now, speaking of, I think we all can agree that Italy will be the favorites for this group. I think they will end up comfortably topping the group. But now about the other three teams. Now, let's talk about Wales. Now, the thing with Wales is that they have performed recently well. This is only their second UEFA Euro. I mean, last year they reached the semi-finals. They beat Belgium, who were considered to be the favorites
yeah,
last year. Obviously, Wales ended up losing to the eventual winners in Portugal. But again, Wales also have, their squad is, I think, majority of the 26 players that Wales have selected in their squads play in the Premier League. Obviously, the greatest player, I think, who will be the key player for Wales is going to be Gareth Bale. Now, Gareth Bale has not played so well in for Tottenham, but obviously
Aaron Ramsey, bro.
yeah, I mean, Aaron Ramsey, they've got Dan James. I think they've got some fairly
Yeah,
popular players as well who can be a
good
nuisance.
players.
But the thing with Wales is that their head coach, Ryan Giggs, he will not be in the dugout because of the fact that he
Yeah,
assaulted a
yeah.
woman. I mean, because he assaulted a woman, so he has, stepped down. The caretaker man, whoever the caretaker is, will be, on the sidelines. So I think this is what makes Wales in this is what will, I think, put Wales, I think, on on the number 3 in the pecking order, given that Turkey is in very good form. They've got some pretty good players as well, and Switzerland, who obviously are whose FIFA ranking is 13th, and second best only to Italy in this particular group. So I think Wales can do pretty well, but I think a lot will depend on Gareth Bale's form. So let's ask Banu about how he thinks that Gareth Bale can go in this tournament, given the fact that we've all seen what kind of a player he is on his day. But given the fact that he is struggling with injuries, did not play as much as he would have liked for Tottenham. But yeah, on his day, I think he's one of the greats. But yeah, so please, Banu, yeah, what about? I mean, how important Gareth Bale is going to be for Wales?
Yeah, I think the Bale is going to be the most important player for Wales. For them to do well, Bale has to be fit and running.
Yep.
If they don't get a Bale, like the Bale we saw for the last Euros when they reached the semi-final, if we get that version of Bale, I think there'll be no team inside that will be able to stop him. And I think they've got players like Daniel James and Ramsey as well. So if they can complement him and they can get the balls to him, they get the team playing through him, and but Bale has to be Bale has to stay fit for that. So I think if he can stay fit and get the team going, they'll have a really good chance. But I do still think that Italy are the group favorites, but they might very well be the second best team.
Second best team. All right, bold statement there. Agreed. All right, so let's move on to the other team in Turkey. Now, Turkey is what I feel is the real dark horse. I mean, you can't call Italy the dark horse because I think they are now
Yeah.
one of the favorites given their recent form. But Turkey, I think they are one of the real dark horses. They have played some amazing football as well. Their FIFA ranking is 29th, and obviously they were eliminated in the group stages last year, last time in 2016. But I think they've got some terrific players as well. Players like Son New and Cengiz Under, who play for Leicester City. Then you've got Ozan Kabak, who plays for Liverpool. Hakan Kalahanga, who plays for AC Milan. I think he will be their best player
Harry Demiral as well,
as well.
Juventus.
Perfect,
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah, and
yeah,
then obviously the Burak Yilmaz. I think although he's
yeah.
34, 35 years old, I think he's ending his
Uh,
nearing the end of his career. But the way he played in this season
Brilliant
in the
season at
French league,
Lille, man.
absolutely.
Brilliant season at Lille.
Yeah, he won Lille the league. I think he scored a lot of goals. I only saw him play a couple of times when he was in Galatasaray. I think it
Galatasaray.
was in the group stages of the Champions League, and he's a very physical player. So I think Turkey's players, I think, can impose themselves physically on their opponents. So I think Turkey would be another team to watch out for. And talking about defense, since we spoke about Italy's defense, that they haven't conceded a goal in such a long time, Turkey as well, in their European qualifyings, only conceded 3 goals. So that is something which, does make them kind of the dark horses. And I think they will be, given the fact that Wales and Switzerland are also very, great teams. But I think Turkey might as well be the second favorite team in this group after Turkey. After
Yeah, same as yeah. I do think the same that Turkey will be after Italy to progress to the other rounds. They have some good players. Turkey, they have very
absolutely
good players.
terrific players. Yep.
Uh,
So now, speaking of the last team in Group A, which is Switzerland, and again, I think they are a pretty good, decent side. They do pretty well in these international tournaments. I mean, reaching the first knockout stage, sometimes even the quarterfinals as well. Now, uh, it's just that what it with Switzerland is that they do well in in qualifying the group. It's just that in the knockout stages where they where they don't where they don't usually do their best. Now Switzerland haven't won a knockout game since 1938. So even if you know even if they even if they somehow manage to qualify from this group, I think you can be rest assured that they won't be going further than round of 16. And speaking of the players that they've got players like Shaqiri, who plays for Liverpool. They've got
yeah,
Ricardo Rodriguez, who's a very good who is very good left back, plays for Torino.
left back.
Yeah, they've got Akanji, who plays for Dortmund, and of course, Gurjot's favorite player and their captain Granit Xhaka, who might as well leave Arsenal. I think Gurjot is not.
Not my captain, bro. Not
I
my
think
captain.
he's Gurjot's favorite player, Gurjot's captain, and I think he might leave Gurjot disappointed because he is in advanced talks of joining Roma. Yeah.
Good riddance, man. Good riddance. Although he had a good season, he was the most consistent player. But for Arsenal to take the next step, we need things better than Shaka. He's not there. I hope. I hope it leaves Basuma, man. I want that guy so bad.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
yeah, I mean, sorry, I mean, it's just it's habitual, man. Even if you're talking about complete something completely different than club football, your club allegiance always
yeah,
gets in the way, as we saw with Gurjot. Yeah, so that's it with Group A. I think obviously we want to keep it short, given the fact that we've got 6 groups to discuss. So I think that's pretty much it with Group A. I think all of us can agree that Turkey will be the clear winners here, and sorry, Italy will be the clear winners
Italy.
of this group, and Turkey might come in second. Obviously, Gareth Bale's form is going to be key in how Wales play. Yeah. So moving on with Group B, I think let's get Gurjot in. I think let's start talking about Group B. We've got Belgium, Denmark, Finland, and Russia. So let's just hear Gurjot's thoughts on it.
Yeah, as Belgium, we should start with Belgium. They're the FIFA ranking. They are the number one team of the world. So
Absolutely.
yeah, the last time they played, they got knocked out, as you said, by Wales in 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one expected that Wales to knock out Belgium at that point. So yeah, they are also one of the favorites to win the Euros.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the players, the list goes on. The players they have,
Absolutely.
De Bruyne, both the Hazard brothers. Yeah, there as well as Yannick Carrasco had a great season for Atletico Madrid as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, Axel Witsel I think might be missing. He was very influential in their midfield, but guess Yuri Tillemans can play there. So they are, as they said, they are the golden generation of Belgium.
Yep.
For me, yeah, they're also there. And De Bruyne is also set to miss, I think, the first couple of matches of the group stages
Speaking of
after the
De Bruyne
final.
missing, I mean, let's obviously, I think this is something that Bhanu has fairly seen this season, and I think every Belgium fan would be worried about this one thing that I want to ask you about is Eden Hazard's fitness. Now, I just want to
Yeah,
understand something from Bhanu. I mean, it is Eden Hazard's fitness with subject to the medical team that they have at Real Madrid, because we saw that Real Madrid had 62 injuries. Is it that, or do you think that about even with Belgium, his the injuries that he had with Real Madrid? I mean, in and out of the team, playing for 30 minutes, getting injured, playing starting one game and then getting injured. Do you think this will continue in the UEFA Euro 2020s, or was Eden Hazard's fitness a concern only because of maybe the way Real Madrid's medical team operates, given the fact that they had 62 injuries?
I think, yeah, I think it has also to do with Hazard a bit, because we all know his habits of the field and his preferences. But I do think
I think he's.
if
I think he.
he
I think
manages to stay
McDonald's.
fit.
I think McDonald's Belgium made Hazard their brand ambassador as well, right? For a new burger. So is it because of
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Uh, I heard somewhere that he asked the king of Belgium that the hamburger after a game is like a protein shake from him. It's like really necessary. But to be serious, I think if Hazard manages to save it, we all know what he can do, and he is the captain of this Belgium team,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
he'll try his best. I think because he'll know that this time he'll be in the prime of his career, and he's got a great team around him. He's got De Bruyne,
Yeah.
Lukaku up front, and Mertens alongside him.
Yeah. Big Rom.
So
I
I
forgot to
really think
mention
that
Lukaku.
yeah, I really think that Belgium's are the favorites in this group. Yeah,
Uh, Clearly, I think
Yeah.
other teams being Denmark and Russia, and of course the Nokia factory workers from Finland. We'll see how they perform in this group. But let's talk about
Yeah.
Denmark now. What I think what
Yeah.
should we look out for? If we're watching Denmark play, I mean, how what can we
Yeah.
expect from Denmark, Gurjot?
Yeah. Denmark also they didn't lost a game in their qualifiers. They played 8-1-4 and drawn 4. So yeah, they're also very good side for players like Eriksson, Brathwaite, Schmeichel, Simeon Kjaer from AC Milan. So yeah,
uh,
they're
I,
also
Andre
good.
Christensen
I
from Chelsea.
sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt
Christians.
Gurjot, but I thought I just heard you say Brathwaite in the important players. I mean,
I
like,
didn't know
was
what
I
to
wrong or
mention,
what?
man. I was searching for good players
I,
from
I think a
from
lot of
Denmark.
lot of people will take offense.
Yeah, when I was searching for the big game players, I was researching on Denmark. So Martin Brathwaite came up. So I thought maybe I should mention him in the pod.
Danish
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Danish Ronaldo.
Danish.
I think
Yeah,
every team
yeah.
should look out.
Banu was right. We should mention Brathwaite in important players. Yeah, the amount of time he has let Messi down, my God. You should have seen the misses he has made throughout the season. Oh man, and they paid like 26 million odd for him. That's crazy.
Barcelona's transfer strategy. I don't think. I think it's something that everyone should stay away from. How not do business in football. I think everyone should
Yeah,
learn from Barcelona. Yeah. So I think pretty much
yeah,
it with Denmark. One thing that one very
yeah,
surprising stat for me was that they were unbeaten in their qualifying round in their
yeah. They were
qualifying group.
unbeaten.
I think nobody
Yeah,
expected that.
they picked Greece to
They picked,
qualify. They picked
yeah,
Greece and Bosnia Herzegovina. Yeah, they picked
and their
them
FIFA
also
ranking
to
as well
qualify.
is I think 10th. So I think they can
Yeah,
be
10th,
they can be the I think
notoriously difficult team.
yeah, they
Yeah,
can be. I think we can call Denmark the second favorite team after Belgium to go through from this group. Now, speaking
from
of
this group.
Russia,
Yeah,
yeah, speaking of Russia now, Gurjot, I think although their FIFA ranking is 50, but I think
yeah,
their performance in the 2018 World Cup was amazing. I think
yeah,
they reached. I think Denis Cheryshev was the star man. He was scoring 30 odd
yeah.
pointers in almost every game. But last year, obviously, they
Every
eliminated.
game.
Yeah. So what do we make of Russia? I mean, given the fact that they had a very impressive World Cup, but and obviously, I think the recent slump in form has seen their rankings go down to 50. But what do we make of Russia?
Russia, I think what you said that I think they got a lot of benefit from playing in front of their home crowd in the World Cup. So yeah,
Fair enough.
that for me that was the reason. The crowd was also they were a home team. So yeah, Cheryshev who couldn't even get into Real Madrid or Valencia was scoring bangers in the group
Absolutely,
stages, man.
absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, and another player is there Alexander Golovin who plays for Monaco. He also
Yeah,
was a key factor in Monaco coming back to Champions League football next season.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah, for me, I don't think Russia will make it through the group. I think it will be Denmark and Belgium to go through. I don't think Russia have the medal to pick one of them. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
And
that's pretty much it.
last but not the least, the Nokia factory workers from Finland. I think FIFA ranking 59. The least, I think this is
Yeah,
the first time they have qualified for any major tournament in their history. So what
Yeah.
can we expect from the factory workers from Finland?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Finland. I just know one player that that Pookie guy from Norwich. I
Yeah,
just know him because he played and he
Yeah.
scored against Arsenal, so that's why I know
yeah. So
Pookie played.
a- and
Pookie is
and
the
and
one
and and
where
I
is the
think,
bigger good threat.
yeah, and I don't think we should be surprised if we see Finland players, using Nokia 3310 as shin pads underneath their socks. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's
So I
all
think,
I can find out about Finland. So I'm sorry.
yeah, so I think, guys, nothing, no disrespect to Finland. I think, yeah, given the fact that this is their first major appearance in any tournament, I mean, nobody should expect anything from Finland. I would even be surprised if they manage to get even 1 point from this group, because the other teams, I think, are going to wipe the floor with them. So yeah, I mean, this is what happens. I mean, you play in certain tournaments, you gain the experience, and then you go again.
In
So
the
I mean, no
experience,
disrespect to the factory workers from Finland, but it doesn't look like it's going to be their tournament. Yeah. Again, so
yeah,
I
yeah,
think pretty
sure.
much it from Group B. We can conclude that I think Belgium and Denmark would be the favorites, and
Yeah.
Russia could challenge Denmark, but I think Belgium are going to be the clear favorites and going to qualify as group toppers. Yeah. Moving forward now,
Yeah.
Group C. Again, I think fairly competitive group, apart from one team, which I think are the plumbers from North Macedonia. Now, I don't even know anything about North Macedonia here. I mean, North Macedonia is one of the teams. I mean, I have no idea about North Macedonia. I mean, I think Bhanu, please help me out here. What can I tell my viewers about North Macedonia?
Bro, all I know about North Macedonia is that Alexander the Great came from it. That's all I know, bro.
so, so
Really
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm really sorry about it.
So, do you think these plumbers from Macedonia can conquer the world like Alexander did?
I think if they channel their ancestors, he'll surely get them.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
have any
Nothing more to
expectations.
talk on that.
Yeah, any. I don't think anyone should have any one of us should have any expectations from North Macedonia. 62nd on the FIFA rankings, and yeah, the only thing that we know about this team is that about this country is that Alexander the Great was one of the most known persons to have come out of this gang of plumbers. Yeah, but one player to look out for, I think, I think majority of the viewers might have forgotten about it since his peak was almost 10 years ago, is Goran Pandev. So he was
Acha, yeah, he played for
yeah,
Napoli, I guess.
he played for
Yeah.
Inter Milan and won the Champions League with Inter Milan. He was in Jose's treble winning
Oh,
Inter Milan. Goran Pandev.
yeah.
So I think Goran Pandev,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe Goran Pandev, he obviously, respect to him, he's not a plumber, he's a Champions League winner. I mean, if he can channel his inner Alexander the Great, very good for Macedonia, but I don't think that is going to happen. Speaking
Enough.
of, yeah, speaking of other three teams, which are Australia, Ukraine, and Netherlands. So let's just start from Austria now. I think their FIFA ranking is 23rd, not so bad, and they've got players like David Alaba and Marcel Sabitzer, who both of them who play in the
Yeah,
Bundesliga. Yeah, Alaba is joining Real Madrid, but
yeah.
other than that, no, no star players, no players to look out for. And even last year, only managed the group stages and did not could not qualify their group and did not reach the round of 16. So that's pretty much it about Australia. Now, speaking of Ukraine, their FIFA ranking is 24, in similar bracket of Austria. I think this is this they have also never been able to qualify from their group stage in their entire history of any tournament that they've played in. I think the some of the players that you can look out for are Yarmolenko, Zinchenko, and yeah, I think
Yeah.
Anthony Yarmolenko and Alexander Zinchenko, who both play in the Premier League, and Zinchenko would be one of the players who will be the midfield general of this Ukrainian team. But other than that, Other than that, yeah, it's pretty much it. So I mean, obviously, we Netherlands is the other team. I think their FIFA ranking is 16. They
Yeah.
did not qualify for the tournament at all in 2016. Netherlands again is one of the hosts, and obviously, if you want to talk about their key players, I think Memphis Depay, Mathis De Ligt, Frankie De Jong, Stefan De Vrij, Quincy Promes. All of these are very good players. Obviously, captain Virgil van Dijk is injured, but I think that could hurt them in the long run. But I think we can fairly conclude that Netherlands can progress through this group as its winners.
After the
But what about?
yeah.
I think obviously it will be Netherlands winning the group, and then it will be North Macedonia who will be. I don't think if they might not. I don't think they'll even score a single goal in this tournament. What about if you have to pick one out of Austria and Ukraine? Which team would you bet your money on?
I think for my side it would be Austria because players they have, I think Australia would have enough to pass the group. I don't think Ukraine would pass. Now it's my opinion. What about Banu?
Yeah, what about Banu? I think we can all agree that
Yeah,
Netherlands.
I do think that having players like Marcel Sabitzer and David
David-
Alaba, they might have a greater chance than Ukraine to qualify for it. And actually, I wanted to ask you a question about Memphis Depay. Do you think this is really his last chance to get his name among the elite players? Considering we have been hearing his names linked with Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis Depay, I think he was a very promising player in the Eredivisie. Then obviously he joined Manchester United and it did not turn out for him so well. Now he's come back. He's joined Lyon, and I think he has played brilliantly in the French league. But again, that is the Farmers League. Anyone can perform there. But again, I think it only takes one tournament to make an impression. Obviously, Diego Forlan had an inconsistent career, but in the 2010 World Cup, he just lit up the whole tournament. He was the tournament player.
Yeah.
Obviously, obviously everyone knows about what a player Diego Forlan was. So I think Memphis Depay as well. I mean, Dutch league not so competitive. He shined there. Then when he came to Manchester United, where the real in the Barclays Premier League, which is the most competitive league in the world, did not do well there. Now he's gone to French league, which is the Farmers League. Again, playing. He has played really well there, but hasn't shown what he showed in the Eredivisie. So I don't know what if he can be the star man for this Dutch team, but I wouldn't be surprised if he, all it takes is one tournament. Nobody expected what Diego Forlan to do, what he did in the 2010 World Cup. Yeah, nobody expected David Villa to be such a player, although he was playing very well in the La Liga. But again, I think after the 2010 tournament, he took his game to another level. So I think it can be possible. It can be done if Memphis Depay has the right mentality that he needs to go out there and do well for his country. He can do it. He has the talent, but it's just it depends on how
Yeah, it divides opinions. Sometimes divides
yeah,
opinion.
he divides opinions. He polarizes the fan base. But yeah, I think it will depend more than it. I think it will depend the most on how he carries himself in this tournament, given the fact that he's obviously there are a lot of distractions these days, and obviously these young players need to keep their head in the game. Some of them do, some of them don't. But I think yeah, it will depend on how Memphis Depay plays this UEFA Euro. Will tell us whether I think if he does well, if he has a Diego Forlan like tournament, I think we can expect a lot of clubs interested in him in the summer transfer window. Yeah. So I think yeah, that's pretty much it. Group D. I think we can agree that Netherlands will be the clear winners, but given the fact that no, I don't know. I think Ronald Koeman isn't the manager, right? Ronald Koeman has
Koeman
left the
is
job.
not.
So I think
Yeah.
Frank de Boer is the Dutch manager now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He is
how
not.
has so I think the only thing I remember about Frank de Boer is that he was the Crystal Palace manager. He played
Yeah.
Premier League games. he lost all the 8 games and did not score a single goal. So I don't know how
Yeah, it was
how
actually.
Netherlands are going to go about the tournament. I think I was pretty confident Netherlands, winning the group. But now, given the fact that new information has come to light just now that Frank that Frank de Boer is the manager, so I don't know what to make of it. But I think they have enough good players to. I think they might just win the group. And I
Yeah,
think
they will
it's
go
a
through the
close
groups.
call for second in with between Austria and Ukraine. Yeah. So pretty much it. I think this is what we can talk. All we can talk about Group C, other than the other than the plumbers from North Macedonia. I think the other three teams can give each other a good fight. Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, now speaking of Group D, now we've got England, Croatia, Scotland, and Czech Republic. So what I think again a fairly competitive group. Given the fact that England's FIFA ranking is 4, they can be the clear favorites. So let's just start by England. I think they are the they are the highest ranked team in this group. So let's just start by talking about England. I mean Gareth Southgate and his young England team. Obviously, some players are experienced as well. So I mean, let's get Gurjot's thoughts in on England. What do we make of this England team, Gurjot?
Yeah, they have a very good squad, first of all, yeah. But yeah, they were also knocked out by Iceland in the last Euro, so that was one
Yeah.
blip they had. They were knocked out by Iceland. I don't have a suitable adjective like plumbers for Iceland, but yeah, they were they were knocked out by Iceland. So I personally don't think Gareth Southgate, although they had a pretty easier run in the World Cup as well. They were humbled by Croatia as
Yeah,
they who are in the group with them as well. So
absolutely.
Gareth Southgate, I don't fancy that manager as well.
Hmm.
He doesn't uses his players and very boring football that he plays. Gareth Southgate, I don't think he will take England to the next level. I think he's a stopgap before they find a real manager. So yeah, and the players I think to look out for they have Lord, Harry Kane, Jack Grealish, who I personally like to be the first Arsenal signing. So yeah, I
I
like
mean,
Grealish as well.
Jack
Rashford,
Jack Grealish
Sancho.
Jack Grealish and Marcus Rashford. I don't know why. I don't know why every England fan takes these two names. I think Zach Grealish is just a English Zac Efron. I think. I mean, again,
With the hair.
with the hair, with the face, with the diving, with the play acting, with everything. I mean, I don't know why everyone is so hyped about Jack Grealish. To me, he's just another Zac Efron. And speaking about
Come on, man. Come on.
why is he so highly rated, man? He has the record of most consecutive defeats in the Barclays Premier League. I think 24 or 25. I think Jesse Lingard is
Yeah, he plays for Aston Villa, man. He
Yeah, I
played for
do. That
Aston
has
Villa,
more
not
to
a
do with Aston
below
Villa,
average
bro.
Aston Villa. Yeah.
I mean, Aston Villa also has some really good players, but I think to me he's just an English Zac Efron with his diving and play acting. I don't know. He wouldn't be starting games for me. But I think yeah, uh, that's just my opinion. Obviously, there are a lot of Grealish fans out there. But speaking what it's talking about what Gurjot said about Southgate, that he doesn't consider himself. I mean, Gurjot does not fancy Gareth Southgate as a manager. I mean, as a
Or,
good
yeah,
manager. Speaking
yeah.
of getting Banu's thoughts in here. I mean, do you think that? So obviously, according to Gurjot, I mean, England are not going all the way. So what about Banu? I think let's not talk about winning the tournament, but do you think England can reach the finals at least?
I do think England have got an excellent squad. Talking about the forward players, I think Rashford is more mature than he was in the World Cup.
Hmm.
They've got Foden, they've got Kane, who's
Absolutely.
been their ever-present goal threat
Yeah.
and captain.
Yeah.
And in the midfield, I think Henderson will be accompanied by
Declan
Declan
Rice,
Rice.
Declan Rice or someone. So they've
maybe
got
Calvin Phillips.
a solid
Yeah.
attack in the midfield, and
They
it all
also
has
picked
to do with
Maguire, man. Yeah, they also picked
yeah. That's
Maguire,
what
who can't even play. I think he's out for first 2-3 games, and he's very yeah. I don't think he can. He's very his ankle injuries, they say it's quite worse and he might not even play the tournament. So why is he in the squad?
I mean,
Explain that
but,
to me,
but,
man.
but
That's why I said Southgate is not the manager for me.
but the thing about England is that England are one of the host nations, yeah, and they will be playing all of their
Yeah.
games, I think, at the Wembley Stadium. And
It's not coming home. It's not
no,
coming home.
but England's recent record at Wembley has been quite astonishing. I think they've only just lost 2 games out of 23 that they've played at Wembley since Gareth Southgate has taken over, and those 2 defeats were against Spain and Denmark. So I think now that if we put this statistic into perspective, I think there is a very high chance that it it can come home. Although I would not like it at all, but it might just come home, man. I might not. I won't be surprised.
As Bhanu said, they have a terrific squad. They have a
Yeah.
very good players in this team. But I don't. Yeah, as I said, I don't trust the manager. I don't think he has. Yeah, I don't think he has enough to get more out of the players.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't think England will obviously get through the group, and they might get to the latter stages. But winning is another thing, and I don't think England have to win the tournament.
Yeah. So,
Actually, I have a question for you, Sushain.
mhm, please.
Considering England don't do well at the Euros and Southgate ends up getting sacked, do you
Mhm.
think that Lampard has a chance of being the England coach?
No. I think
That's interesting.
it's way too soon.
What
If
are
that
what are your thoughts about?
No. I think Lampard. I no. I think Lampard has only had 2 seasons in top 2.5 seasons in football management. One season at Derby and 1.5 season at Chelsea. And he as and just like what Gurjot said about Arteta, I think in one of our previous episodes, that Lampard is learning his trade, and obviously Chelsea was, I think, too big of a job for him, and England I think would be even bigger, because it's like the whole nation's expectations on you, given the fact that you're English also, you want to do well as well. So I don't see the FA choosing Frank Lampard for this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But one point I also that that I would like to make, speaking of Frank Lampard, and he has been part of the England's golden generation that we
Golden
all thought that would do so much. The only thing, why I feel that this current English squad should be rated highly than than the squad than the golden generation squad, which had players like David Beckham, Steven Gerrard, John Terry, Wayne Rooney, Frank Lampard.
coach.
I think this squad is better than that, because that was the posh team of a golden generation. Yeah, I mean, you could easily defeat that team just by doing a little shithousery, as we call it in the Premier League. Now this team for this current England team, shithousery is just another day at the office. You want to talk about Harry Kane, the captain. I think Harry Kane shithoused and stole a goal from his own teammate with nothing at stake. So I think it was Tottenham. I don't know. I don't know if our viewers remember it, but I think it was Tottenham against I don't remember the opposition, and I think it was Christensen who took the shot, and it deflected off Harry Kane and went in the goal. And Harry Kane, I think, was competing for the Golden Boot that season. So after the post-match presentation, the reporter asks him that, what do you have to swear, talk about that goal? So what Harry Kane says is that, I swear on my daughter's head that it's my goal. I touched it. And there was nothing at stake. I mean, Tottenham, obviously, as we know, bottle jobs, no chance of winning the Premier League. I don't think they were even in the
I
top.
forgot to bring my bottle, man. I was thinking of bringing my bottle, man.
Yeah. So Harry Kane
Yeah, I had
Harry Kane shithoused and stole a goal of his teammate with nothing from his teammate with nothing at stake. Harry Maguire, goes around dishing wallops around the slums of Manchester. Yeah, Ben Chilwell, big Brexit lad. For this team, shithousery is just another day at the office. I think Colombia tried a lot of shithousery in the 2018 World Cup, and it did not affect this England team at all. So if this England team does their own shithousery, I think it would be a lot. I would think it would be very. I think it would be a very. I think their opponents might not be able to take it. But yeah, given the fact that England's form at home, their FIFA ranking is 4, the kind of squad that they have, which Bhanu mentioned, I think it can come home. but it might just not. Yeah. So I think that's it about England. I think we've spoken a lot.
Yeah.
We've got three more teams to talk about in Group D. The next
Yeah, yeah,
the next team is Croatia. Yeah, again FIFA finalists.
yeah,
The last
yeah.
World Cup finalists. FIFA ranking is only 2014. Yeah, their UEFA Euro 2016 record. I think they lost in the round of 16 to Portugal 1-0. Got players like Luka Modric, uh, Perisic,
Rakitic,
then Kovacic,
Rakitic,
Rakitic, Kramaric. What do we make of this team?
all itch.
What do we make of this team, guys? I think the other two teams being Scotland and Czech Republic, I think we can agree that Croatia can
Yeah.
come second to England in the group.
Yeah, for sure. I think Croatia will be the second team to progress through the group. Yeah, so the players that you mentioned, Modric, I think they will have enough quality so they can progress through. Kramaric from Hoffenheim also scored like 20 odd goals in the season, so that was fantastic. I think he might lead the line ahead of Mandzukic. So yeah, I think Croatia would be second to progress.
Fair enough. And what do we make of Scotland
Yeah.
and Czech Republic, guys? Scotland FIFA ranking 48, Czech Republic FIFA ranking 40.
Yeah.
Uh, what do we
Yeah,
talk about, sir?
Yeah. They just have Robertson and Kieran Tierney. And yeah, they have McGinn as well, who was very instrumental in Aston Villa's season.
Aston
They've
Villa's
had
midfield,
the
yeah,
season this year.
absolutely.
Yeah, he and Douglas Lewis were very solid in the midfield too. So, but I don't think Scotland would have enough quality to progress. Yeah, these are the only players I think we know from Scotland.
Yeah, and what about Czech Republic? Thomas Souček, I think, had a breakout season at West Ham. I think he was nominated for Player of the Year as well. Then
Sufal, I think as well. Sufal is also Czech Republic, that the right back of West Ham, I guess.
yeah, I think he
Sufal,
plays
I
for the
don't
Czech
know about his
Republic as well.
Yeah, so he also had a good season at West Ham this year. So, yeah, I don't think they would they would go through. It's just enjoy the moment, enjoy the stage.
So yeah. So and what about? I mean, let's ask Bhanu. I think what about Bhanu's opinions on Czech Republic and Scotland? I think pretty much same as Gurjot's. I don't see us disagreeing.
Yeah, I think they'll mostly hope that England and Croatia drop points whenever they can, and they'll just look to get in.
Yeah, I think they will. I think obviously, I think they'll know it as well that other than I think it's not going to be in their hands. Obviously, they will hope that England and Croatia drop points against each other and against themselves as well, in order for Czech Republic and Scotland to go through. Yeah. So I think yeah, pretty much it about the Group D. I think we all can agree that England and Croatia would be the clear winners of this group, and I think England might just have enough quality to beat Croatia. Although Croatia beat England in the World Cup semi-final, but I think yeah, England might as well have revenge on their minds. Yeah. So coming to Group E now, again I think again a pretty easy group for Spain, given the fact that the teams that they've got is Sweden, Poland, and Slovakia. So let's just get Banu's thoughts in about Group E. I think Spain will be the clear winners, but let's get a certain more insightful detail from Banu about this group.
Yeah, I do think that Spain will be the clear favorites for this group. They've got a great squad. They've got excellent players in every position, considering they didn't actually get any Real Madrid players. So
Yeah.
we don't know. But
What about the Ramos snub, bro? Ramos snub.
I don't want to say anything about that here, bro.
I mean, even
But,
I was surprised about the fact that they don't have to pick any players from the Madrid team.
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But we all know that Spain. I think that speaking about the players Spain have got, they think they'll key players for this will be, I think, Gerard Moreno, Thiago Alcantara, and I think David De Gea. So speaking about Moreno, I think we'll have to talk about the decrease in quality over the Spain squad over the few years.
Yeah,
In the 2010 and 12 Euros, we used to talk about Xavi, Iniesta, David Villa,
David
players
Villa,
like that. And now
absolutely.
we're going to talk about Gerard Moreno as the key player. He
Yeah.
had a great season for Villarreal. We all
I think he
agree that
scored
he scored
30 odd
30 odd
goals.
goals
Yeah.
and they ended up winning
Yeah.
the Europa League. But let's be honest, we all know his caliber and what he can do. So, but talking about the way the Spain squad plays, I think they'll look a lot to him. He'll be the guy to link the attack with the midfield, and they've got good players in midfield. I think Thiago, Fabian Ruiz. I think Busquets has actually gone back due to COVID, so there'll be some changes for him.
Yeah, he was
So,
tested
yeah.
positive for COVID.
But
So they've
yeah,
got a good squad, and they'll be the clear favorites for this group.
for this group, yeah. But you spoke about Thiago Alcantara and David De Gea, but neither of these two players have had a great season with
Yeah.
their respective clubs. I think De Gea hasn't been the same since Ronaldo scored a hat trick against him in 2018.
Yeah, man.
To me, I think for me, as I think for me, De Gea was anyways just an overhyped shot stopper. His other attributes as a goalkeeper, which is commanding the area and catching the ball, and other than that, I think they were below average or average. To me, De Gea was anyways just an overhyped shot stopper. But now, I mean, his shot stopping ability also has gone down the drain ever since Cristiano Ronaldo scored that hat trick. I think Ronaldo ended him in
Yeah,
the World Cup. He has not
Ended
been
him.
the same
Yeah.
since. And speaking of Thiago Alcantara, I think his season highlights in Liverpool has only been, giving thumbs up to his players and
he just
at the bench. So I was a little surprised when you said that Thiago Alcantara and David De Gea might be Spain's key players, but
I mean, they are the only
I think they are
senior
one of
players
the
they've
most
got in the
experienced
squad.
players. Yeah, they are. I think one of the
Yeah,
most
Yeah.
experienced players.
I
but
want to ask
I
Banu
don't.
about what do you think on Pedri? He had a good season at Barcelona. What
I
about
think I
Pedri?
really
What
think
do you
he's a
think of?
great player. I know he's a Barca player, but I have to admire him. The way he glides on the pitch and the kinds of link up plays we expect to see from him. I think he'll be a great player from Spain in the years to come and in this tournament also. I think they'll miss Ansu Fati a lot in this tournament too. He has been injured for a lot of time, but we've watched him a lot and we know that he's a quality player and they'll surely miss him.
Fair enough. And what about Luis Enrique, the manager? What do we make of him? I mean,
Enrique,
Enrique, obviously, I think we know that he won the treble with the Barcelona, but that
yeah,
Barcelona team had Messi, Suarez, Neymar, Iniesta, Xavi. As I said, maybe my grandmother could have won the treble with that Barcelona team. But speaking of Spain, I think it's an entirely young team. And what do we make of Luis
yeah.
Enrique? How do you think he manages and coaches this team? What do we?
I think the way Enrique's Barca used to play, they used to play a really quick attacking style of football, and they used to pass quickly through the lines and press their opponents really high up the pitch. So
Yeah,
I think this Spain side, Enrique will try to set this side in a way similar to that one, but we all know that side had MSN in it, and this squad, well, it
Gerard
has
Moreno,
Gerard
Alvaro Morata.
Moreno. I don't mean to disrespect him, but
Yeah, but I mean,
we
nowhere
will see.
near.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
He might end up
Yeah,
having a great tournament. We
who
never know.
knows? Yeah, we never.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who
So
knows?
so I think given the fact that the other teams are Sweden, Poland, and Slovakia, Spain, even who are just a shadow of their 2018 to 2012 squad, might as well just end up winning the group.
Yeah,
Speaking of the second team, what about Sweden? I mean, they will be missing Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but what do we make of
yeah,
Sweden?
I think they'll have an outside chance to qualify for the second position. They've got a good attacker in forward in Alexander Isaac. I
Yeah.
think he was compared a lot to Zlatan when he just arrived onto the
yeah.
scene, and there were a lot of clubs after his signature.
Okay.
But recently he has been playing in Real Sociedad, and he has
For
had
sure.
a couple of good last two seasons. So I think he'll have a good tournament. Speaking about Sweden, they also have Emil Forsberg in the midfield, so he'll
RB
provide
Leipzig.
that pace and creativity in the middle of the field. So they'll look to uh, find their two teammates most of the time and help the attack for them.
Yeah. So and yeah, their FIFA rating ranking is also 18th. I think it's pretty good. So the only team I see challenging Sweden for that second place in the group is, I think, Poland. We all know
Yeah.
how the form that Robert Lewandowski has
Got this.
in the last two seasons. So what do we make of Poland?
Yeah.
Do you think Poland can, obviously Lewandowski's form is going to be the key, but what do we make of Poland? I think Poland might just be the second favorites to qualify from the group.
I think it is going to depend a lot on how Lewandowski plays. If we see the Lewandowski we have seen this season in Bayern Munich, they might very well end up passing Spain to the first position.
Okay.
But apart from Lewandowski, they've also got Peter Zielinski in the midfield.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
they'll look to get him into the attack also. And Lewandowski was the highest scorer for Poland in the qualifying with 6 goals. And he'll be their captain and the most important player in the squad. And the whole team will just look to find him throughout the game.
Absolutely.
So I think he'll get amongst the goals Lewandowski. So they do have a
Yeah.
chance to finish second.
Yeah, and I think their keeper as well, Wojciech Szczesny, has played at Arsenal and Juventus. Is a certain
Yeah.
experienced keeper, and I think he can coordinate the defense as well. So if Poland manage to keep it tight at the back and continue to find Lewandowski up front, as Banu said, they might just pip Spain, and emerge as the group winners. And speaking about the last team of this group, Slovakia. Now their FIFA ranking 34, which is the least in this group. I think everyone saw Gurjot's reaction. I think he has no clue about this team.
No clue. No clue about
Neither do I,
Slovakia.
apart from the fact that Marek Hamšík plays for
Martin,
Slovakia.
yeah.
So I think
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
both like the Poland team will will look up to Lewandowski to guide them through. Me and Gurjot are going to look up to Bhanu to give us some insights about Slovakia. So please, Bhanu, what can we expect from Slovakia in this tournament? Do you even think that they'll qualify the group? I don't think so.
First of all, I think I know as much about Slovakia as you guys, bro. All I know about is that Marek Hamšík will be their key player.
Yeah.
We all know
Yeah.
his time at Napoli. He was the player who
I think
broke
Hamsik, Cavani.
Maradona's record of goals for Napoli, and he'll be their most important player. And I think I don't really give them a chance to qualify for a group. It'll all depend on the other teams if they draw points against each other, or but still,
Uh,
I
long
don't
shot.
expect.
That's a long shot.
That's a long shot. Yeah. So I think pretty much it about Group E as well. I think we can all agree that Spain might just emerge as the group winners, even if by the slightest of margins. And I think it'll be a close. I think it'll be a tough. I think a close fight between Poland and Sweden. But I think Lewandowski has the potential to turn the game on his head all by himself. So if Lewandowski's if Lewandowski continues to shine, I think Poland can easily breeze through Sweden as well and end up occupying the second position in this group. But yeah, you never know in football. Sweden also has some quality players. Obviously, Zlatan Ibrahimovic will be missed, but I think this is where Poland might just have the edge. Poland have their talisman in Robert Lewandowski, whereas Sweden are missing theirs in Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Yeah. So pretty much it, guys. Group E is there is I think done and dusted as well. We can all agree that Spain and Poland might be the two winners. And finally, last but not the least, the group of death, Group F, is the one we are talking about. Now we've got teams like France, the 2018 World Cup champions. We've got Portugal, the defending champions. We've got Germany, the 2014 World Cup champions. and we've got Hungary, who might just die of hunger in this group. I mean, I don't see Hungary getting even one single point. I mean, one single point. I mean, I don't see Hungary getting a single point from this group.
You never know. You never know. North Korea also got something out.
Yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough. But I think this is going to be a completely different ball game. I mean, we are talking about champions. These three teams have
Yeah.
won 2000. I mean, Germany 2014 World Cup champions, Portugal then 2016 European champions, Spain, France 2018 World Cup champions. I don't see Hungary getting even one point. I think they are going to end the group with 0 points, and as I said, die of hunger because no points for Hungary. So I think that's pretty much. I think we've summed Hungary up. So I don't think there is anything to talk about Hungary. I think they will be the. I think yeah. I think the other three teams are going to wipe the floor with them, and they will be the last team in this group. I don't see them, as I said, don't see them getting even a single point. Now, speaking about the other three teams, Portugal, France, and Germany. So where do we start from? I mean, all these teams are like even Portugal, who used to some years ago rely on Cristiano Ronaldo to get them through, have players like Joao Felix, Bruno Fernandes, Joao Cancelo, Ruben Diaz. I mean, their squad is also,
They have very good
it's a very
squad.
big
They have
squad.
very good
So
squad.
let's just start from Portugal. I mean, obviously we know that it's going to be Cristiano Ronaldo, the key players. Uh, Given the fact that Fernandes and Joao Felix will be there up with him. So what do we make of Portugal's attack?
Yeah, Portugal. I think they have very yeah. Yeah, Portugal, they have a very strong squad. Cristiano Ronaldo up top, Bruno Fernandes, the sort of season that he had.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also have Gonçalo Guedes from Valencia. He's also a very good player.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think they, along with I think France, have a good shot of progressing through the group. Germany, I think they have very strong squad, but they are relatively they have a younger squad this time. Not a lot of winners. So
Yeah.
I think yeah. So personally, I think that France and Portugal will progress. Germany, I don't think they would have enough to pip them because yeah, as you said, this the title winning squad was not good, but they did win the Euro the
Yeah.
last time they played. So, but yeah, I think for me, yeah, these two will be the one. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, you can't be sure about how what the order of these three teams is going to be, given the fact that how good these teams are. But I think, yeah, I mean, Germany is. I think they've lost their fear factor. I don't think I think Germany are again a shadow of what they were in the 2018 World Cup, beating Brazil 2014 World Cup, sorry, beating Brazil in Brazil 7-1. So yeah, I think they're just a shadow of their 2014 selves. But I mean, you never know. I think Joaquim Low, I think he's leaving the job after this, so he will want to, and go out on a high. So he might just pull the ace up his sleeve, and also I think they have quality. Although it's a relatively young squad, but they have quality players like Timo Werner, of course, Kai.
Don't mention Timo Werner, man. Come on.
I mean, Kai Havertz, Tony Cruz, Ilkay Gundogan. Again, they had an amazing season. Antonio Rudiger was, I think, on another level after Tuchel came in. So I think Germany also have a pretty good squad. I might as well, call them the second favorites here. Although we know that,
Do you think?
yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I think
What are your two to get through?
no, obviously, I think we know that three teams can go through certain groups because we need to have out of the 24 teams that we have, we need to have 16 teams going out, 16 teams in the pre-quarterfinals. So I think all three can go through, but obviously, I think France will be the top team given the fact that their players are on another level. N'Golo Conte, Paul Pogba, Karim Benzema, Olivier Giroud,
Look at
Antoine
that
Griezmann,
midfield, man.
Kylian Mbappe, Tolisso. Yeah. So I think France will be
They
the
have
number one
Benzema
team.
back as well.
Yeah. So I think France will be the number one team. But I don't know how do I call between Germany and Portugal. I think it's really tough for me. I let's just ask Bhanu. I think he
Let's
might
ask Bhanu.
like he might as well, just help us break down. I mean, I think Bhanu can agree as well that France might be the top team, but how Portugal and Germany are going to be, the order of Portugal and Germany, who is going to finish second, who is going to finish third. I think, yeah, it's very difficult. I am finding it very difficult to call. Maybe Bhanu can help us on this.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you guys. France have got an excellent squad. I think will not be, I think, wrong in saying that this squad could be in the best in their history.
Hmm.
If we start talking about players, Mbappe, Benzema, Griezmann, I think if
Olivier
I start
Giroud.
talking about their squad, we'll stay hell till the night. So I'll just cut that short. And the other teams are Portugal and Germany. I think Germans will know that they're not the favorites for the first two positions, and they'll think that as a weight off, and
Good
they'll not
point.
have as much pressure on
Good point.
themselves
Good
to
point.
finish the top the group, and they'll think about doing their best and surprising their opponents. And Portugal, we all know
Defending champions. I think they will have that
Cristiano
extra.
Ronaldo.
Yeah,
The
I think
yeah.
Portugal will have
Speaking
that
about
extra pressure of
previous,
defending champions.
of course, and as we have seen in the previous version, the last Euro we saw the Portugal team we saw played a really negative style of football. They used to defend a lot and mainly count on Ronaldo to score from somewhere. And in the final two, the last final, Eder ended up scoring out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
this time, I think Portugal have got an excellent squad. They've got good players in every position.
Yeah.
Up front, they've got Ronaldo, Andre Silva, Diego Jota, João Felix. In the midfield, they've got Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes. And in the defense, they've got Ruben Diaz and Pepe. So they've got good players in every position now. So I don't expect them to play that defensive style of football, but we'll still tease them. I think focusing mainly on defense because that's the kind of coach Fernando Santos is. But
And the kind of
mainly,
opponents that they have to face. I don't think you can. You are facing a team like France and you would want to go all attack. I think you will have to
yeah,
play defensive football against France and even Germany, given the fact that they are not as good as they were in 2014 or in 2016. But I think they can hurt you. Even the Germans can hurt you anytime. I think that's what it makes them
yeah.
unpredictable. So guys, I think I think we were pretty much clear about the other groups. But what do we make of this group of death? I think we can be pretty sure that France will end up topping the group. Hungary will die of hunger, as I said, will die of hunger at fourth place.
I think
What about?
whoever team Hungary takes up points of could end up finishing third.
But you think
Yeah,
that
that's a good
Hungary will
one.
end up taking points of Portugal and Germany? I mean, come on, guys.
You never know.
No, you were right. They will die of hunger.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, between Portugal and Germany, second and third, which is your pick?
I pick Portugal, man. I pick Portugal. I
I
think
pick
they have
Portugal.
enough experience. Yeah, they have enough experience. Germany have a younger squad, so I don't think they also haven't been performing well. So for me, I think Portugal will pep Germany. Yeah.
Okay. So both.
What about you?
I mean, yeah, I think I don't know, man. It's very difficult for me to call. Obviously, it'll depend on how Portugal and Germany play against France as well. Uh, France, I mean, it depends. If we are talking about maybe France beats Portugal and Germany hold up France to a draw or vice versa. So maybe, I mean, I was pretty clear about that. Maybe France could be the group toppers, but I won't be surprised if they might end up being second or third. But yeah, I think it's very difficult to call. I will just pass on
Yeah.
this. But yeah, just for the sake of it, I will say that France, Germany, and Portugal. I think this is what I am saying. Yeah, so I think pretty much
Yeah,
it.
that's the Chelsea connection talking. That's
No,
the
no, no,
Chelsea
no,
connection
no, no.
talking.
It's not a Chelsea. It's not the Chelsea connection. It's just my honest opinion is what I feel. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
pretty much it. I mean, obviously we can. This is it was obviously a very short and short analysis of all the teams given the time constraint that we had. But yeah, obviously there were certain teams which we were unaware about. I mean, given the fact a team like North Macedonia, all we knew was that Alexander the Great, came out of that country. Yeah, so I mean, we would like to apologize for that as well. I mean, yeah, we could have done
Yeah.
a little more research, but yeah, I mean, obviously the time didn't forbid, time didn't permit for that. But yeah, I think this is pretty much it. I mean, what I think. Please let us know what you think about your Euro predictions. And
We
before we
should predict the winner,
we
man.
should predict the winner, man. I would
Predict the
it
winners
slipped out of my mind. So who do you think? Let's start with Bhanu. Who does Bhanu think is winning the tournament?
with the Euros.
I think France are too overpowered, man. They've got too good a squad. I don't see anyone else beating them.
Okay, Gurjot, what about you?
Yeah, same as my friend, man. I also picked France. I have my allegiances to France because of Thierry Henry. So yeah, I'm forever a France man. So yeah, for me, I think France, as Banu said, would have too much quality. They have, they are a great side. Every position, the players they have there, it's tremendous. So yeah, I think France will win the Euros.
Yeah,
You?
yeah. I mean, given the fitness of Eden Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne, I might say Belgium.
Oh,
It's an
Oh,
unpopular opinion.
yeah,
that's
they
a
are
good
also
shout out,
that.
actually.
It's an unpopular
That's a good
opinion,
shout out. Yeah.
but I think Germany, I think Belgium played an extraordinary World Cup in 2018, beating Brazil. I mean, obviously lost to France in the semi-final again from a set piece goal. So they gave a
At
tough fight to
least.
France as well. But yeah, I think if Belgium and France are to meet at some point in the tournament, obviously which will be in the latter stages, we can be sure of that, either in the semi-final or in the final. And given the fact that Hazard and De Bruyne are firing on all cylinders, I think Belgium will have revenge on their mind and they might just pip France. And if they are beating France, I can see them lifting the trophy as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's
So I think
stopping
that's
them
pretty
then.
much it
Yeah.
with the analysis and the predictions. So viewers, please let us know about what you think, how this tournament is going to be. You can, let us know in the comments. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much it from me, Gurjot and Bhanu. We will be coming up with new episodes very, very soon. Obviously, we've all been a little busy these days lately. And obviously, there are certain unforeseen circumstances which we cannot discuss on the podcast. But yeah, I mean, everyone has those. Yeah, so we'll just try to find out a time for all of us to get to be available to record as many episodes as we can for you guys. And yeah, you can expect a lot of episodes on the Euros for the next 30 days. Analysis after match week 1 and analysis after match week 2, given the fact that the transfer window has just been opened recently, so you can
Yeah.
expect updates on transfers as well. Yeah, I hope you guys remember that we broke the news of Fikayo Tomori going permanently to AC Milan in our second episode.
Fabrizio Romano, who
Fabrizio Romano, who, yeah, this hasn't been confirmed yet, but you can be assured that this will be confirmed. Yeah, so I think even Fabrizio Romano is recycling old news these days. So you can, look up to us to give you transfer news as well. But yeah, yeah. So pretty much it. We'll continue to bring you new exciting episodes with a whole lot of banter. I think today's episode we had the most banter in the previous three combined
yeah.
because of Nokia factory workers from Finland and plumbers from Macedonia. Yeah. So yeah, no disrespect to these countries, guys. I mean, our country is also not so well on the international stage when it comes to football, but we would love to see India play in a major tournament as well. This is what we continue to hope for. And when India is playing the tournament, that will be the time when obviously we'll be biting our nails and sitting on the edge of our chairs. But rest assured, I can enjoy this UEFA Euro 2020 laying back, relaxing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much it, guys. Do let us know what you thought about the episode and what you think about who's going to win the tournament in the comments below. And if you would like to be a part of our podcast, just write us an email at the flag goes up podcast @gmail.com, or you can send us a direct message on Instagram as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. We'll be coming up with a new episode very, very soon. Until then, please stay home, stay safe. See you soon.